Good morning, everybody. Hoping you can hear me okay. So I'm Sarah Patterson. I look after risk, compliance and some of our policies. But some of you might also know that I look after diversity and well-being. And although we talk about, the health and safety and, and being at the heart of all of these decisions, it's really important to know that well-being and diversity also is super paramount. So to talk to that, some of the exercises that I've been involved in is looking at our equality. So we have our own equality impact assessment, which is a formal exercise to look at all of the 9 protected characteristics covered in the Equality Act. I'll talk about that a bit more in a sec, but we did that to support the decision of bringing staff back from furlough and trading again. So we got one for staff, but there was also one done for volunteers. And the outcomes of those have very much informed some of our work and how we can support you more. We really want to get the right balance in moving forward, so opening the shops and business as usual, but making sure that nobody is left behind. So I guess it's important to recognise that through coronavirus, but also lockdown and furlough, different groups have been impacted in different ways. So you'll know a lot about age and underlying health conditions, but it's also important to shine a light on some of the lesser known groups and their circumstances too. Really just want to shine a light here on the coronavirus impact on those from the Black, Asian and minority ethnic community. It's compounded by the current movement of Black Lives Matters. So we've got a health risk and a mental health situation going on right now. And we really want to recognise that and have done in the Equality Impact Assessment. I've just kind of drawn out a couple more kind of key groups here, but yeah, we talk about parenting as well. We know that we're losing our support networks. So that's having a big impact. And of course, schools not fully reopening until September is a problem that's live and well in this house as well. On the Welcome Back pack that went out on Friday, I did include a diversity quick card. So if you're interested, all of the characteristics under the Equality Act are covered there. And that kind of goes into a little bit more detail about the impact of all of the groups and what are the practical things you can do to support them. All of those things feed into the personal risk assessments. So you would have received a bit after the Welcome Back pack on Friday, some line manager guidance, which included how to conduct the risk assessments for your staff. And then on Monday, there was a volunteering one with a similar process. So yeah, in terms of diversity, we're pretty aware that that would be one of the first sort of formal conversations and opportunities for you guys to discuss these different groups and circumstances for people. So yeah, it's just to say here, please make sure they're approached with the warmth and understanding that you guys have for everything else. And it's just to, everybody's experience is personal. So as much as we want to empathise, that sometimes it is difficult to understand. So we just need to be really open and flexible with how we can support everybody. If somebody's presenting to you a case or some circumstances that is difficult to accommodate, please refer it. So your regional managers are definitely there to support you, and we will be working on some reasonable adjustments to kind of equip regional managers a bit more with what options they have available to them. Please also feel that you can continue to signpost our wellbeing offer. So I'm hoping that many of you would be in receipt of some of those examples throughout furlough and lockdown, where we've had welfare calls, but also some very practical resources. There's tons of support for you, and it isn't going to go away. So please continue to use that and to refer people to it. I touched on Black Lives Matters on the previous slide, but I do want to extend the wellbeing support to make sure we're really looking after this group as well. So on Monday, you would have received an email from Karen Sheldon, she's our diversity manager, and she wrote a blog to talk about practically how you might be able to have a conversation about racism within your teams. It's really important that you have a look at it. It signposts some brilliant links, such as how to use inclusive language, how to help, also how to sign up to the BAME network, which for some of you who don't know, this is a fantastic example of coming together to support a group, whether you are a BAME individual or you're really passionate in supporting them. You know, there was a big call last week that attracted over 700 people to come together to see how we can support everybody better. You may have seen that there's some all staff calls kicked off by Mike Adamson tomorrow and Friday, I think. So please have a look at your inbox. And if you can listen into those, that would be really helpful. And just to add, you know, if anybody doesn't feel comfortable with having conversations about race, that's completely okay. And we understand that there'll be different dynamics and we all have different experiences. So again, please feel that you can refer. So your line manager will support you, but I'm very much here to support you as well. So please do reach out. Yeah, so to finish diversity, you know, we just want to sort of leave the final message to say we know that there isn't a national answer to look after everybody's groups and circumstances. These are local decisions that will be done on a case-by-case basis. So please do refer if you're not sure. And hopefully that will put us in a great place to move forward and make sure we're still including everybody in our journey. So a big part of my day job is looking after personal information. So the whole GDPR thing 3 years ago was a real game changer for us. And we've really applied a lot more rigor to the guidance and the policies we have around personal information. It's really important to recognise that all of the conversations you're having about diversity and definitely the personal risk assessment in terms of records are as sensitive and as private as they get for people. So please make sure you're looking after them in the usual way. They must be secured in a lockable filing cabinet if it's paperwork. And if you're having a conversation on the phone or in the shop, please make sure it's discreet and nobody else can hear you. If you do need to email information across, please make sure it's from Red Cross to Red Cross email addresses. As soon as you send something outside of the Red Cross, it isn't secure. So I can support you if you need to. There is actually an encryption tool that I can access, but do let me know if that's something that you need some help with. Please also bear in mind that every piece of paperwork and email is subject to the individual having the right to ask to see it. If you keep that in mind and look after it appropriately, I'm sure it won't be a problem. And yeah, if you don't have a shredder in your shop, please can you make sure you get one, because that's going to be really important as we look at these. For example, the risk assessments that have gone out to you, you know, they may evolve, people's circumstances might change. If you need to do a new one, it's really important that you're getting rid of them securely. So finally from me, I just wanted to give you an update on how we're going to be using Lodge services. So one of the services they do for us is the compliance audit programme. We actually haven't had any audits this year so far. So as soon as the schedule was about to commence, that's when COVID really hit our shops. So we paused it immediately, knowing that it was just not the right time to look at that. Now we're kind of getting ready to reopen and seeing what the new world is like. We've also realised that the existing format of audits isn't really appropriate for this year. So we've completely changed the programme. It won't be based on the full categories. It won't have any reference to previous performance, and it won't feed into any formal performance. What it is about providing you and us that we have looked after you safely. So we are calling it a COVID assurance visit. It will be focusing on health and safety, well-being, and any reputation risk. You know, social distancing measures. Have we given you the correct maximum occupancy numbers? Have we given you all of the tools to trade safely and look after everybody in your team? Most of the phase 1 shops will receive a visit. This is because you guys are the first and we want to make sure we've got it right for you. So that means we can then quickly correct anything for you, but then we can apply those kind of learnings and any insight to the next phases. There won't be a pass or a fail. So please, if you do have sight of the visit report, it won't be a reflection on you. It'd be more likely a reflection of us not quite getting something right, or some circumstances that we hadn't quite considered. So please don't feel that the score as such has got any bearing on that. The visit would take only about 45 minutes. So the full one is normally about 3 hours. So we hope that it will be brief. We'll get them in and get them out for you. We're very much aware that that's one less customer you can have, and probably one extra visitor that you could maybe do without, but they will be supportive for you. So any problems you have, they will be taking on a coaching role. So if that means you need some help still with your till screen, fixing that on, or anything at all, they'll be resolving things with you during the visit. So please bear that in mind. And they will also be completely adhering to our health and safety kind of visitors guidance. So they will need to observe the maximum occupancy and obviously keep to the social distancing measures as well. Yeah, the questions won't be a secret. So as soon as we've got them, we'll communicate them to you so you can see what to expect and how to prepare for it. So yes, we expect that will be out with you hopefully next week, and the visits might take place within 2 to 3 weeks after that.